Well, hello everyone at the Be Awesome Network. I have got my new friend Nicole Cowley with me. We were just like two girlfriends talking, and I was like, we've got to start this interview.
So
Nicole,
true.
how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Why don't you tell everyone where in the world are you? Where are you coming from?
Sure.
What have you been up to lately? Then we'll get into your story.
Sure. Okay. I am Nicole Cowley. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I am super grateful to be here. I love being part of anything that is helping people rise and feel better in their lives and, just make them see what is possible. So I'm honored, actually super honored to be here and be chatting with you today.
Well, thank you so much. I'm honored to have you. We were talking about your basically your story and now what your mission is to help people live their best life. So, why don't we get into that? What made you want to do what you're doing? Can you give us a little bit of your backstory of what
Sure.
led you to where you are now?
Sure. So 9 years ago, I was a stay-at-home mom and to my two beautiful children. And from the outside, I would say most people would look at our life and thought everything was great. But behind all four walls, things were kind of falling apart. And I had been a stay-at-home mom for 8 years at that point. My little girl was 8, and my son was around 4.5, 5. And I was told that my husband no longer wanted to be married, and I was looking at starting over from scratch. So, as you can imagine, when I'd surrendered all my finances, I'd surrendered everything to our marriage, and I take full responsibility. That's what I did. But, at that time, I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And I had these two little eyes always looking at me like, or two sets of eyes, my two children looking at me and being like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I really wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure. But what I knew in my heart, I had been at home with them for a long time. And what I knew in my heart is I didn't want them having to be in a huge amount of upheaval too. It was never their choice. And so I was trying to find something I could do that I could still be with them. And so one of my great friends at the time was with a direct marketing company, and I danced with her my whole life, and she was a chiropractor. And I'm like, why are you doing this? I don't understand why you're doing this. And she's like, well, you got to do this. It's so fun. And you get to like talk to people and like run a business and give people really great skin. And I was like, okay, well, that sounds like really great. Although I was in a place where I was in deep rejection. So just the thought of starting this all and asking people to talk with me and do all these things was
Yeah.
not, it didn't feel great at the time. But, with the help of this company, this direct marketing company, they literally pulled me off my feet. And I remember being so incredibly grateful because they were the most beautiful women ever. And all they wanted to do was help us succeed. That was it. And during that time, which was so beautiful, the women in my neighborhood knew I had to start over. And one night I was sitting alone on my couch, and my children had gone to their dads for the very first time. And I remember how empty this felt. Our house felt so empty. It was so quiet. And I remember my doorbell rang, and the girls had come and they'd bought me my first iPad to start my business. And
Oh,
it's so beautiful. They all came with cards and everything, and they said, we've got you. We've got you. You can do this." And I remember that moment so clearly from a point of like so grateful, but also to the point of like what has happened in my life that this is where I am. But I started to build a team, and I built quite a large team and rose really quite high within the company, which was beautiful. But what it did, and I don't know if many people know a lot about direct marketing companies, but they often are personal development in themselves. And it got me dreaming again. I started to feel success. I started to feel so much better. And I started to think about how I really wanted to help people. And I knew that I wanted to help them even at a deeper level internally. And so I had been a dancer my whole life, so I knew how to get people moving. So I was like, okay, I'll take all my money that I was making from my direct marketing company and put myself through school to be a personal trainer. And so I went and I did that, and I got people moving, and I did it for free for the first year. I remember being like, I just need to learn this. I need to know it. And I did that. And then I realized that they needed more than just me doing the training. There was so much more in their life that was affecting their actual health, their wellness, their well-being. And so I decided to take my money from that. And I was like, because it was going fine and I loved it, but I was like, I need to give them more. And every night I'd think about how could I help them even more. And so I took that and went and became certified as a health coach. and then became certified as a life coach. And then I went into mastery in life. And that was like so beautiful because now I had more like give them more comprehensive help and really see them rise. But from there, from there, I was like, okay, they still need something because there was something holding them back from long-term transformation. I wanted it to be long-term. I wanted them to like really thrive, not just kind of do it with me for a period of time and then that would be it. I wanted them to really live into their lives. And I was going through things in my business at the time and I just wasn't going where I wanted to go. And one of my children was having a little bit of a tough time and I was like, I need something more. And I was reading a book one day, I believe the name was How Do You Talk to Yourself from Chad Helmstetter. And it was a beautiful book. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. I need to learn how the mind works. I need to learn how it works and how it processes and what they do. And so, of course, here I was again going back to school. And so I went in and I got certified through the NGH in hypnotherapy. And then I wanted to go a little bit deeper. So I went and studied with Marissa Peer out of the UK and became an RTT therapist as well. And so I started to use all of this to help people. And I was like, oh my gosh, the results they were getting was blowing me away because they were starting to understand themselves. And then I was helping them reprogram. So I was helping them really truly live both physically and mentally into a life they wanted to really live into. And so it was so amazing to watch them do their wins. And then after that, I decided to study with Bob Proctor for over a year. And so that I could add his beautiful, and if anybody doesn't know, he's like the father of personal development. He was just so incredible. And so once I learned a lot of his concepts and then brought this all together, it just even took people to another higher level, more even spiritual. And so it was something that I was so grateful for. So I will tell you, my journey has been just as much for me as it
Yeah.
has been for my clients. And all the steps were part of me coming alive again, too. So I started to realize like all the things that I was giving to people and helping people with, I was growing at the same time through that. And so this has been my mission, my passion for people to never feel that this just can't be for me, or I just can't have this dream that I want, or it's only for them. And, thriving both physically and mentally is so important because they're so deeply connected. You
Yeah.
can't, there's not one or the other that's better. They just work so synergistically together. And so my goal is to see people smiling, happy, healthy, alive, and doing what they love to do. And that's what I do now.
Wow. Okay, that was how long did it take you to get there? Because you just described so many different tracks, and it
Yeah.
feels like it would have taken you 20 years to accomplish what you just said.
Yeah, I know it does. It's when I look back, sometimes I'm like, whoa, whoa,
You're
whoa.
a woman on a mission.
Yeah, I was like on a treadmill, I'll tell you. But the day I knew that my husband was leaving was the day I said, I've got to go. And I will say, like a lot of the time during that time too, I was coming from a place of lack and scarcity. So I was working harder than I'd ever worked. But at the same time, I knew it was opening me up to something I never thought was possible. So the timeline really was from 2015 till today. Although like I've been settled in my like my hypnotherapy and all of it together over the last like couple years. But this has been a journey that I did. I sometimes think I did more in this than I did in university. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
And
oh, definitely.
yes, with my
Yeah.
two kids in tow, right? With my two beautiful kids that were patient. And I'll tell you, like, you don't get there without help. And I mean, I had my beautiful mom who was like,
Shoot,
just,
we got frozen a little bit.
oh,
If you're still with me,
I'm with you.
Nicole.
I'm
Well,
with
that
you.
was an amazing conversation we're still trying to have.
Yeah,
Okay, good. You're back.
I'm
We
back. Oh, good. Oh, good. Yes, you froze on my screen, but I could hear you.
okay, perfect. Well, you have accomplished so much and you've helped so many people, and it must be so rewarding.
Yeah, I think the best thing is for me to see people have those aha moments that like, I never saw it that way, and now I'm going to do things different. And once you know, you don't go back very often, right? When you know something, it's hard to unsee it. And
Yeah.
so when they start to see in themselves what is like beautiful, they start to create things that they never thought they would ever create. And that to me is my most like it's what warms my heart. I know when we're happier, like when we're more fulfilled, when we're happier, our families are happier, we do better at our work, we live into life differently. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. Well, I think what you're doing is amazing. And tell us a little bit now that you've kind of given us the rundown. Tell
Yeah.
us, why did you decide to go into hypnotherapy? Because that's very
Yeah.
interesting to me. What is that like?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know because a lot of people are still like, oh, that's kind of woo. Like it's kind of, it's out there. And but the people I got to learn through was very neuroscience based. So I've always been very interested in science all the way through like high school and even into university. And I actually did my degrees in psychology and medical sociology. And so that was something that I've always been fascinated by. But why I wanted to learn the mind was because I really wanted to understand why we get stuck, why we like get in that place that we cannot move forward, and why do we have to live a way we don't want to live? And I wanted people really to have long-term transformation. And I truly feel that long-term transformation comes from really understanding the way you do think and reprogramming it to the way you want to think, and really building the identity of who you have to be to create the life you want. Often, our lives are really a blueprint of how we've been thinking and how we have thought over time. And so I wanted to help people really be able to create a vision, be able to find out what's holding them back, move right through it, taking beautiful action, aligned action with their new beliefs, and really starting to do what they need to do. But I knew that the mind was like the thing, because whatever we believe we create. And so that creation is the most important part of your life. And so if I could understand, the way people were thinking about themselves and help them actually get rid of the stories that were usually not theirs, that they've been carrying for years, maybe from childhood or all the way through, that I could really help them accelerate at a much faster level in their life, and just live happy
Yeah.
lives, fulfilled lives.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, but hypnotherapy. So why I want to say, so hypnotherapy, why I use it is I love to call it like a massage for the soul. So I do things where I help people. So in hypnotherapy, it's relaxing the mind, but actually opening it up. So it's a relaxation for the nervous system. The nervous system goes to sleep, but your mind becomes more open. So
Mhm.
through hypnotherapy, I can access the subconscious mind, which is the powerhouse of almost everything we do. It is the hub of like what we create. It's whatever we believe. There are patterns in there, and they're so powerful. And why they call it subconscious is that we're usually not even knowing they're taking place, our stories that are controlling our lives. But in hypnotherapy, I can access the subconscious mind at a much easier place, like from a much easier place. It allows you to be relaxed. So it's not like I have to work so hard at this today. It's like if I listen to this track, open my subconscious mind, hear what I need to hear, see the pictures, the vision, feel it in my body before it's even happened. So you're living it in it. And then what starts to happen so you would listen to when you work with me, you listen to these tracks every single day. But what starts to happen is that they will start to recognize their patterns outside of hypnotherapy. So they'll start to be like catching, their awareness becomes really huge. Like, oh, I always say that to myself. Oh, I'm always in this kind of relationship. Oh, and what they'll start to hear is what they would rather be in, like strong, confident, powerful, living into their life. Like I even have them walk through from the time they wake up in the morning till the time they go to sleep, who they are in the place that they would rather be. So people are always often in point A where they are right now, and they want to get to point B. So we live in point B in that hypnosis. We live it. We live it before you live it out in your real life, so that you start to like catch yourself in your old habits, your old patterns, and you start to do your new patterns. Oh, I think we froze again.
Darn it. It's freezing again.
Oh, shoot.
Okay. Are you with me?
I'm with you. I'm with you. Can you hear me okay? Oh,
Okay. We
there we are.
again. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
You were talking about they catch themselves.
Well, they catch themselves, yeah, like doing their old patterning, which is such a beautiful thing because in the hypnosis, yes, we're reprogramming, but we're bringing a deeper awareness to what we've been doing for a long time that doesn't serve us. So, along with hypnotherapy, I do pattern interrupts and different things that tools, gratitude journals, all these different things that help you actually live into who you want to be. But we really work on self-identity, self-image, who do I have to be to live the life I really truly want?
Yeah.
So this really helps it. And it's a fast way of transformation in many ways. It's the fastest way I've found for transformation and but also so beautiful for the nervous system. So it's a really beautiful thing.
I love that because it's just another way of, well, I struggled with nervous system,
Mm,
you know,
yeah,
basically short circuited my nervous system. And so,
yeah,
yeah, I wish I would have known about this kind of, modality to help. I turned to yoga and
yeah, which is
breathing.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's fascinating. So I love that you're doing that. And I love that you've incorporated all of these tools and brought them together in your unique way.
Oh,
And I
thank you.
also love that you're helping so many people.
Oh,
So
thank you.
yeah. So how is life now compared to life when you started rebuilding?
Yeah, night and day. It's night and day. I think 9 years ago, I was so incredibly scared. I didn't know how, I couldn't see my future. I was scared to even think about that. I had no idea how I was going to financially support us. I had no idea. Just I felt so behind. When I was starting over in my 40s, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to start over. And like I was petrified. I had a lot of shame and guilt of where I was. And, I should have worked, like all these things, all these stories in my head. But what I truly believe today is that this was the path I was meant to be on. This was where I just came to it a little bit later. I just wasn't ready for it until I was ready for it. And, often I think being let go, let me live, let me live the way I wanted to live. And at the time, I would not have said that.
Yeah.
Today, I would say that. It's been a gift in many ways. And when you have to learn more, to be more, to do all the things, you can't help but grow. But I've been mentored by the most beautiful coaches along the way, surrounded by an amazing community, which I think is so important in growth. And had people really help me see my vision, help me move through it, help me feel physically well and mentally well, all of it. And so today, that was a long answer to your question, but today I I feel so much stronger, both mentally and physically, but not only just stronger, I trust myself. I'm not as scared of what is possible. I'm just like I'm more excited about what's possible, which is such a different way of looking at things. I was really scared of what could happen, and now I'm really excited about what can happen. And so I think there's just such a huge change, but using all of the modalities along the way, like I believe in moving your body. I love doing that. I love putting good things into my body. I love putting good thoughts into my mind and all of those kind of things and surrounding myself with an amazing environment have really been the key to this transformation for me. And that's why all I want to do is help people feel it too. I just want to see them do what they need to do to live the way they want to live too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's beautiful. Your answer was perfect because I think you've been on such a journey and you've been learning so much, and I can see the joy in your face when you're sharing that you're just like, I just want everyone to know this information.
I do, because I would say, like, I didn't know a lot about hypnotherapy. I didn't know a lot about a lot of these things a few years ago, and I would just want to spread the message that the what transfer or the hypnosis I do or hypnotherapy I do is for transformation, and it's for but there's so many different modalities I use. Like I said, moving the body and actually nourishing my body with really good foods, and then making sure my environment's conducive to growth and and then training my mind and doing all like your mind's a muscle too. So doing all of those things are so important. And like really there's such a deep connection between mind and body. When we're not feeling well, it's really hard to think.
Mhm.
And so I always think like if you can feel really strong in your body, you can often have more clarity and be able to think. And so the two things happen together. And it's a beautiful synergistic thing. And so I love helping people all the way around so that they're not having to go to the doctors all the time. They're feeling alive. They're feeling younger than they've ever felt and more energy for their family and for life. And then from that place, they can create and they can create what they really, truly want to create.
Yes, and it starts to, I'm sure your clients' minds start to open up and create new ideas, and the energy just kind of feeds on itself, right?
Yeah, it's actually amazing what you were just saying. So, it first opens up and it's like this tiny little window, and people are like, oh, I do see a little further than what I saw when I first came to you. And then from that window, they start dreaming bigger. And then they start from that window dreaming bigger. And so it keeps going. Like I have people that have published books and they were never even writers before, right? And they've created new businesses and, and they've become the best shape of their life. Like all these things that they didn't see at the
Mhm.
time. But as they grew, their dreams grew. So
Mhm.
as they expanded, they started to see things through new eyes so that what they thought was their limit became like endless. And so it was their potential would move, and then every single time their potential would move, their potential would move again. And so it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to watch people's awareness grow.
I love how you just described that, how it's like an open space, like an open window, and then
Mhm.
it opens more, and then it opens even more, and then the sky's the limit eventually, right?
Yeah, it's so true. The sky is the limit. If we understand what we have been given from birth, for most, like many of us, been very lucky if we are, but what we've been given, is opportunity to live into a beautiful, beautiful life, but we don't always see it. And so when we can actually start to see it, we can actually do so many miraculous things. I mean, every single thing we have was first an idea, right? Everything we have in our life was first an idea, once in our mind and then out in reality. And so once you learn how to do all these things, you will shock yourself as to what is possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you, Nicole, so much. And
You.
if someone wants to reach you, what's the best way to reach out?
Sure. So I'm on Instagram, I'm Next Step with Nicole Renee, and on and Facebook as well, or you can follow me under Nicole Cowley on Facebook too. And then I have a website which is nextstepwithnicolerenee.com. You can reach me there, and you can also reach me on LinkedIn under Nicole Cowley, Next Step with Renee. So I am there as well. Hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we'll be sure and link all of that in the comments in this
Okay.
interview after we're done with our live. But do you have any closing thoughts for the Be Awesome Network before
Well,
we?
yeah, first of all, I want to thank you for doing this. I think you are being awesome. Like all the things you're doing is just so amazing and helping so many people connect and having me here today. And it's just so from the heart. And so I just want to congratulate you because I think what a beautiful thing you're doing. You're really helping change a lot of lives. So thank you. And then I guess, to me, I think the last thing was, or the thing I would love to say is, you were born for greatness. You were born to do things that are so much more than you could ever even dream of. And so surround yourself with people who are dreamers, surround yourself with people who love you, that want to lift you up, and find those mentors, find the things that bring you joy. And really, just know that you're always meant for more. You're always meant for more. And just find the people that will help you like rise and do those things and believe it is possible because it is so possible.
Yeah, well, I love that too. Such a great ending for our time together.
Thank
So
you.
thank you, Nicole. And if you
Thank
are listening
you.
right now and you want to connect with Nicole, please check out the comments so that you can connect on all of the different places that she lives.
Thank you. Thank you.
All
Thank
the
you.
different places that you can find her. And I want to remind you, if you're listening right now or you're watching the replay, that you are awesome and that we can be awesome together. And just like Nicole said, go live your dream, make it happen, right?
Make it happen.
Make it happen. All right. Well, we'll see
Love
you
it.
guys next time. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay.